Hi guys, I continue my story about my deliverance from depression, and in this video I will talk about the ways of deliverance and the ways of deliverance I experienced. I would like to talk about the most important one, and it is exchanging the lies in our heads for truths. And it's the most important. Like, when I returned from this camp I mentioned in the previous video, I knew that God was about to heal me and God is healing me, but nothing really changed in my head. Like, I was thinking the same thoughts. I just wasn't that hopeless. And as I gathered a lot of information, growing up in a Christian family and attending all the conferences available in the area, I was really, I knew a lot. I knew a lot about the emotional healing, and I knew what to do. Anyway, before that I could counsel anyone and I could give advice which would make them live free, but I wasn't convinced that I could live free. And since it happened in the camp, I was like, okay, I know what to do. I will force myself to think the truth. And I listened to preachings, and I collected Bible verses about how God thinks about me and how I should think about myself, based on what He says. And I just forced myself to think about these truths, like really forcing, because everything in me was against these truths. I felt like I'm a loser, I should be rather dead, or I'm not worth living, and stuff like that. And I decided that I won't care what I think. Don't care what I feel. I will choose the truth. There was a way back, the self-pity, and I was in that hole for so many years that I decided that, okay, this round is what I won't do again. Like, self-pity tried to convince me that you are still not free, you still struggle with these issues, but now you pretend that you are free, and now you suffer more. There are not even people who feel sorry for you because you declared you are free. Actually, I didn't declare it, but that's what I thought. And the struggle began, and it was hard because everything in me shouted against the truth. But I decided that I won't go back to make another round with self-pity. So I took the truth that God saw me in my mother's womb, and He said that I'm worth to create. I'm good. He said when He created me that I'm good, and He has awesome plans with me, and I won't die, but I will live and declare His goodness. And that I'm so protected. He's before me and behind me, and he covers me with his hands. And I am so loved. I am worth the blood of Jesus. He died for me. That's my worth. And I'm royalty. I'm in the King's family. I'm the beloved of the King. The King is actually my lover. He's especially fond of me. He chose me. He separated me for himself. I'm a closed garden, closed just for him. And I kept convincing myself about this truth. And most of the time there was a huge chaos in my head, like some fragments of lies and a few truths and just a huge mess. And sometimes I had to, sit down and okay, I don't care what I feel, I don't care what's going on, the truth is that. And I just talk to myself. Sometimes I talk to myself in the mirror. I even shared my testimony in the mirror, as if I had been healed, but I wasn't. And it was the hard stuff. And it was so cool that at the end, when I just told my testimony to an invisible audience, I just felt the presence of God so intensely, which I didn't feel most of the time. So I just told this truth and declared them, and nothing happened. The chaos was still there. The only thing happened that while I was telling them, I couldn't think about how messed up I am. That was the whole point. So it wasn't like I declared this truth and everything just got alright. It wasn't like that. I decided not to go back, so the only way was to go forward. So I decided that, okay, maybe I will do this declaring the truth stuff for the rest of my life, but I won't go back. And in the inside I knew that somehow my emotions and my reality should follow the truth that is now placed in my head. So months went by as I was doing it. I didn't feel it. I was desperate, but I knew that once these emotions will bow before the truth, who is a person, and this person is Jesus. It cannot do for a long time that the truth is on the throne in me and he acts like he rules. It's just impossible. So I went on doing it for a while, and the point in this replacing thing is that you can't take away a lie and leaving its place open. You can't take it away and then you have nothing. It just doesn't happen. You can only replace lies. You have to put something instead. So there must be some kind of truth to put into the place of the lies. And in my case, it was the revelations I got about the Father's love, and through worship. But it doesn't work for everyone, because not everyone is that worship and revelation type, which I am. but at the beginning, the only thing that could help me was the written word that is unquestionable. So he says he has good plans with me. Okay, that my life is worth living because there are good plans. I am valuable because Jesus' blood was very, very, very precious. And that's the price that was paid for me. And that I'm not messed up, and I'm not a loser, and I'm not someone who should be eliminated, because he created me with purpose, and he said that I'm good. And it was his plan to create me, and he created me from his pleasure. And I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and even my days are written in his book. He saw my body being formed. And these things were just forced into my thoughts. And then I started to think positively, not as a method. You know, in the world there are this therapies based on positive thinking, and they have results. They do have, because thinking based on the truth helps a lot, even if you don't know the truth, which is Jesus. But if you are saved, if you are born again, if you know the love of God, you have all the reason to be positive. You are just, you know, invaluable. You know that, who he made you to be, and who you are now that he came and he restored you. And you know that everything in this world is about to express him. And then you can think positively, because you can choose to see his glory in everything. And that's how I describe the Christian way of positive thinking. You choose to see his glory in everything. And I started to feel incredibly happy about the stupidest things, like watching leaves while I was learning, and I saw them that, oh, how wonderful you are. I just felt his love on the wind, and you are just so awesome. And sometimes I had to stop learning and put my book down, because it is so awesome that I'm allowed to be alive in these days. The reason why I'm alive is for his glory. And it is in everything. and I'm about to explore. Exploring everything, and that's why I'm alive. I'm alive to be loved by him. He created me for being loved by him, and it can really make you tick. And after a while, I felt that I have authority over these thoughts and emotions, and I had the freedom to choose what to think. First it was just forcing, just declaring, and after a while I felt the authority, and then it just became a voice that I don't listen to. So I still can feel depressed, and I still can have a situation when I feel like I hadn't been healed. But then I bring myself back to the point that, okay, this healing really happened, and it just doesn't care what this voice says. Yeah, and after a while, the enemy sees that you just don't care, and he just gives it up. That's what I did. I forced him giving up. And another way of positive thinking, I don't like this expression, but maybe you can relate to it, was worship. And I really love worshiping God, and that was the time when I really fell in love with God. Every time I was thinking about him, I wasn't thinking about myself, and it helped a lot. If you think all you can think about you is how loser you are, it helps to sing and shout, you are awesome, you are so glorious, and I messed up, but doesn't matter, you are so great. And it can really shift your perspective. Worship is a thing that can make you seeing the things from this to seeing the things from this or this. So, and I just make time every day to worship God. Not every day, but I try to do so, because I knew that it kept me alive. And Psalm 139 became my favorite. I love worshiping God even with my words, not just with music. So the first thing is replacing the truth, replacing the lies with truth. It can be worship, and I would like to talk about another way of deliverance. Because you can only have change by renewing your mind, as the Bible says. But sometimes people are not free to think, to choose. Actually, they think they are not free to do so. They are always free. And And that's when it is helpful when someone just casts this thing out. And I experienced that way of deliverance. So God showed me how to change by the renewing of my mind, how the truth can set me free, and how effective it is when you do deliverance. When I was 17, I reached the bottom line. I was suicidal. I just thought about suicide every day, and if I got 100% of the task, I was suicidal. And so everything that happened to me was just the reason why I should die. And I spent my days thinking about how should I do it to make it really creative. That's the way I lived. And I went to an inner healing conference, not because I knew that I needed deliverance. I just went there to see what this is about, and there were a call for prayer, and I just said, no, there's no way. My mother is here. She will see it. No, there's no way. And then I just found myself up front, and I just went up to this lady, and she said, okay, spirit of suicide, leave now. And I didn't shout, didn't fall on the ground, nothing special happened. I just went home. Nothing special happened. Months went by, and maybe, I don't know, but I haven't thought about suicide for a while. Since when did I stop thinking about it? Yeah, maybe this conference. Yes, this conference. And I was still depressed. I still had very low self-esteem. I still had crazy misconceptions. But suicide left me. And I don't know why, but God uses it very much, that I experienced various ways of how to be delivered. And now I use all these methods with people I get in contact with. And sometimes God leads me to just cast out things. Sometimes just wants me to share His truth, and it is enough. It is always enough to set people free. But in some cases the people are not free to allow the truth in. So as you might know it, these thoughts are not yours. So you have this thought that you should kill yourself and you are just such a loser. It's not you, okay? It's not your personality. It's the devil, okay? It's a demon. And that kind of demon that was defeated at the cross, so you have all the right to be free and act like you are free. Actually, all the forces of the enemy were publicly displayed, and Jesus just conquered all of them. He has the keys of death and stuff like that, so He's just so over all of it. So I would like to pray for you watching this video. If you have any kind of issues relating to emotional problems that God just move in your life, and I just ask you, Holy Spirit, to come and to feel the place they are in, and just express the Father's love to them. and make these words of truth effective in their hearts, and make their heart soft for this truth. And I just command suicide and depression and self-pity to leave these people right now, and just command that you would be free right now. In Jesus' name. It is your glory, God. Thank you. And if, in case you have been delivered, you won't avoid this replacing the truth with the lies with truth part. So the enemy will come again, maybe, probably, that you are not really free. You still have these thoughts. If you had been really set free, then you were like this and that. And then it's your turn to decide to believe the truth and to force yourself thinking the truth. God bless you guys. I'm really excited what God is doing in your lives. And if you feel like you can share your testimonies with me. I have a Facebook page with the same title and with the same logo, Heaven and Earth. So you can write on that to me, and I would really appreciate if you share your testimony, because it's so good to hear about what God is doing. It's okay, so it's not about seeing how effective these videos are. It's just about seeing God doing awesome things. So I just really love to hear about you. God bless you, and I just ask the Holy Spirit to seal all these things I just told you, and be just crazy free, because you have that freedom it just paid for. God bless you, my brother.